Yo, what is up, guys? I am back with some Week 7 predictions for the NFL. Quick wrap of last week. It was pretty trash. Last week was a terrible week for me, probably the worst of my life. Um, had some upsets. The Dolphins beating the Falcons, Bears over Ravens, the Steelers beating the undefeated Chiefs, who are now 5-1, and then the Giants somehow beating the Broncos, even though they basically don't have a receiving core. Really interesting what happened. Green Bay lost, but that's because Rodgers is out now with a broken collarbone. That's going to be serious. Jameis Winston went down. I didn't check to see if he came back into the game, but I saw that he got hurt. The Falcons blew that lead versus the Dolphins. Absolutely terrible. It was just like the Super Bowl for them. And then, like I said, the Chiefs go down. Now, a question to be addressed is Elliott suspended this week? And I believe he is not suspended this week. It's being upheld again. Very complex situation. I'm not sure what's going on totally, but yeah. So, getting into my Week 7 picks, we got buys for the Lions and the Texans this week. Let's start with the Thursday night game, being the Chiefs at the Raiders. I like the Chiefs in this one. The Raiders' offense is continuing to struggle. They're 30th in the league. And the Chiefs are going to come back from that loss and realize, Andy Reid will figure out what they did wrong and how they can correct that. And, they faced the third defense last week, so they still put some points on the board, but it definitely makes sense that the Steelers could have beat them, statistically at least. So I like the Chiefs beating the Raiders. On to the Sunday games. We got the Cardinals at the Rams. The Cardinals did have a great week last week on offense. Adrian Peterson is now the running back for the team, at least until David Johnson gets back. They faced the second worst defense in Tampa Bay, and they were home. So I want to be overly impressed by that Cardinals offense because the Tampa Bay defense is just not very good right now. I like the Rams at home in this one. They lead the league in points per game. They continue to put points up on the board versus good defenses like Jacksonville last week. They ended up winning that game. So I like the Rams at home. Ravens at Vikings. The Ravens are the strangest team in the NFL. They only win when their defense scores, basically. The Vikings are good at home, though. They're 3-1. The Ravens' offense, like I said, is just absolutely terrible at 29th in the league. The Vikings' defense is the 5th best right now, and it's going to be interesting to see how the quarterback situation with Keenum, Bradford, and Teddy Bridgewater plays out. But I think the Vikings have a pretty good team, even without Dalvin Cook. McKinnon has stepped up, and Murray's playing some okay ball. Jaguars at Colts. It seems to me, I had mentioned it last week, that the Jaguars, they have this trend of win-loss, etc. I believe that they're going to win this week because they lost last week. So following the trend, they would win. They are the 8th best in points per game. The Colts defense is atrocious. They give up nearly 400 yards a game. So yeah, I like the Jaguars beating the Colts. Jets at Dolphins. The Jets actually won the first matchup of this series this season. But Miami has won both the home games in the past 2 years, and the Jets have won both of their home games in the past 2 years. And Miami's home for this one. Miami somehow beat the Falcons off of a comeback. They've got some pretty large confidence. Their defense is shining right now. I like Miami at home. Saints at Packers. Now, usually I might consider, okay, the Packers will win, but with Aaron Rodgers out, I like the Saints in this one. New Orleans, they're a high-power offense, as we know, and they finally have a running game, so it's going to be crazy. I feel like they're going to put up a ton of points versus the Packers, enough to where the Packers just can't keep up. A stat for you guys, New Orleans put just under 200 yards rushing in the last game, which is more than normal. Buccaneers at Bills. The Bills have actually been pretty good against high-power offenses, like the Falcons and like Denver, who was high-power early on in the year. So Buccaneers being a high-power offense and the Bills being at home, I like the Bills in this one. They're only allowing 14.8 8 points per game, and they're coming fresh off a bye. I think they'll do a good job in beating the Buccaneers. Panthers at Bears. There's not a lot to be said about this one. The Panthers lost to Philadelphia, who, looking at it, they could be the best team in the league right now. Between the Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles, I'm not sure which one I'd pick. But the Panthers have the 4th-ranked defense in the league. They're good against the run. The Bears' big talent is in the run. So I like the Panthers in this one. Titans at Browns. The Browns are just losing and losing. Nothing new here. They're losing to the good teams. They're losing to the bad teams. I think it'll be a somewhat close game, a kind of offensive showdown, but I think the Titans are going to come out with a win in this one. Cowboys at 49ers. I like the Cowboys. I like them with or without Ezekiel Elliott versus a 49er team that just they play close games, but they never win. They're like the Chargers. But Dak's playing well, Bryant's playing well, and Elliott, I mean, he could get a kickstart, but this could be the game that he does really well in. So I like the Cowboys beating the 49ers at home. Seahawks at Giants. I'm going to pick the upset here. I'm not sure if it's listed on the line as an upset, but I like the Giants in this one. They somehow upset Denver, like I said. They're coming off that win, and Denver is one of the best defenses. The Giants' defense looked great in that game, and so, I mean, this one could go either way, but I don't really like the Seahawks offense, and the Giants are home. I think they could maybe pull off an upset here. And then another potential upset, I didn't pick it this time, but the Bengals at the Steelers. I think you could definitely pick the Bengals if you wanted to. I like the Steelers in this one at home. They're kind of like the Dolphins, coming off with a lot of confidence. Both of these teams' defenses are exceptional. They're listed as number 2 and number 3. But if the Steelers just give the ball to Bell, they can win. He is their workhorse and their game manager. I mean, last game he had 179 yards, and what do you know? They won. Broncos at Chargers. The Chargers are finally winning. It's kind of weird. But they like to start really slow in games. They don't put up points very fast. The Broncos, they've won the majority of the recent matchups. They won the one at the beginning of the year. They have a better defensive rank at number 1 and a better offensive rank at number 12. I like the Broncos beating the Chargers here. I think they'll get back on track. They're a better team than we all think. Falcons at Patriots. What do you know? This is the week with the Super Bowl matchup from last year. I'm expecting the Falcons to redeem themselves. The Patriots, they suck on defense, 32nd in the league. Falcons, I don't think they're going to blow it this time. They blew it last week versus Miami, but they should have learned their lesson by now, and their defense is okay. Their defense is enough to stop the Patriots' offense. So with Vic Beasley back in the game, their star, I think the Falcons are going to be able to pull off an upset here on the Patriots in the Patriots' house. Monday, we got Redskins at Eagles, and I mean, the Eagles and the Chiefs are two teams that I love to just pick because they're so good. So I like the Eagles in this one. They're dominant. They're the 3rd best offense. Very, very good versus the run. 1st in the league. This is going to be an offensive showdown because, Kirk Cousins in that Redskins offense they are good. And the defenses are okay, but they're not awesome against the pass or not awesome against the run. So I like the Eagles in this one. They should come out with a win, whether it's close or maybe even a blowout. So those are my Week 7 picks. Let me know what you guys think. Bad week last week, like I said. Most people had bad weeks last week. Too many upsets, too many crazy games, and injuries. So I will see you guys next week, and peace out.